I'm here with Brother Daniel from Follower of Christ 777.
Hello everyone, happy Sabbath to all. We just came out of Sabbath worship services. Another great sermon from Pastor Craig, as always, who goes into minute detail, as I keep saying, and it's true. And we spoke, and Pastor Craig spoke about the appearing of Satan.
Okay, so when we look at this and break this down as we've got it highlighted, power, okay, what we're seeing today is not what you're going to see when he appears. All powers in signs and lying wonders, that God would even shorten his time for a season, as the Bible says, because if he was to stick around for a very long time, he would probably deceive more than what he deceived in heaven. Just think of that for a moment. He was in heaven and he took 1/3 of the fallen, 1/3 of the angels with him that fell. And they walked with Christ in heaven. So how much more the sleeping people of this world, the 8 billion people or so that are on this planet today, how many are going to follow and worship this foe when he appears?
And all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies.
When you look at this deceivableness of unrighteousness, this is commandment breaking. This is Satan continuing his rebellion against the law of God. Okay? Unrighteousness in performing those works is breaking the law of God. This is what this kingdom has been taught to do, to keep the commandments of men and to do away with the commandments of God, which reflects the definition and character of Christ in his perfect, blessed righteousness.
Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just, and good, that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Whosoever is born of God doth not commit sin, for his seed remaineth in him. And he cannot sin, because he is born of God. In this the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God, neither he that loveth not his brother.
We know that in the Battle of Armageddon, which is happening today, where there are 3 unclean spirits that come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, which work together to try to deceive the elect of God, to cause them to lose their crowns. And as you see that happening, you have the 3 angels' message. You have the 3 unclean spirits, you have the 3 angels' message, and they're at war. Satan gives power unto his system, but for some reason, ministries proclaim that God's loud cry and his latter rain can't be given till a future event to combat this system, when people are perishing, especially today. This is when we need the latter rain more than ever before, which many are receiving it. And you can see it through their life sermon. The latter rain helps you proclaim the 3 angels' message for these last days with a loud voice to proclaim the righteousness of Christ. We don't need to wait for that. We can do it today and give God glory. That's what we need to be doing today.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities.
Either you comply with Christ and his holy law of love, or you comply with the enemy. And the enemy has many minions on this planet. He has many agents, many individuals that work for him, and yet they disguise themselves under the banner of Christianity when it's far from being Christianity. when it is far from being the Christianity of the Bible. They are opposed to biblical truth.
For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ.
But they pretend, like Satan, they pretend to be Christian. And that points also to Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1.
And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel, only let us be called by thy name, to take away our reproach.
It's prophetic. It speaks of today, the fallen Christian churches, the 501c3 Protestant, Orthodox, and yes, the Adventist Church.
And even some of these other churches who are offshoots from the SDA Church today.
Right.
It's either a 501c3 or a 501c4.
Why do you say the church has a slavery mentality?
Most of it is because of the 501c3, number one, and two, because they're incorporated. Because the church wants to, you can't govern when you're being governed over. So it's almost like the Israelites. They were being governed over. They were being manipulated, this, that, and the other. So I think a lot of that has to do with when you come out of those programs, underneath the federal government from the 501c3, and you unincorporate, you are now totally free of any of that. So they have a slavery mentality in the sense that they want to be governed over, so to speak. And that's suppressing them as far as and oppressing the people. The Lord showed me it's almost like they're having a demonic portal over the top of them. So it's influencing each ministry and each person in a different way, depending on their spiritual maturity. So it could be, this is why we're seeing such moral issues, the financial corruption going on in the churches. This is why you're seeing people leave, because they're tired of this stuff. But it's that slavery mentality where they want to be governed, basically. They don't want to be the one to rule and reign like God called us to. 95% of our churches right now, that's our best guess, we don't have exact numbers, are under that 501c3 or are incorporated, this, that, and the other. They're in covenant with Baal. That is a covenant with the kingdom of darkness, basically. They entered into it. They took a bribe from 1954 and entered into a covenant. And, you know, the Bible talks about where you take a bribe, it blinds the eyes of the wise and perverts the words of the righteous. So when you do that, this is why we're seeing so many people in the churches right now blinded. They can't see what's going on, whether it's with Trump, whether it's with their own church, their own life situations, whatever the case may be. You can go listen to a message. 70% of the message may be right on, but it is perverting the words. It's that other 30% that's going to get you in trouble.
You know, I could tell you some horror stories of what that produces. And I got to tell you that I didn't even realize the depth of the stranglehold that those tax codes hold over pastors and deacons and trustees and church officers and the churches themselves until not too long ago. And when we moved here and started this ministry, and I'm not going to give you all the details. It's not necessary that I do that, but the depth of intimidation and evil that is held over the necks and the heads of churches relative to the 501c3 tax exempt status cannot be overstated. It's worse than you think it is, and it's worse than I thought it was. I'm just here to tell you by living testimonial that it is worse than you can possibly imagine. And so when you think about these churches, and why are they refusing to speak out? Why are they not taking a stand? Why are they not standing up in the pulpits and telling their people about the Sheriff's First Bill? Why are they not talking about the freedom issues, the constitutional issues of our state and of our community? It's because of that 501c3 tax exempt status that's held over their head by the Internal Revenue Service. That was put in place back in the 1950s by a Texas senator who then became later president of the United States by the name of Lyndon Baines Johnson. That's who we owe this 501c3 monstrosity to, is to Lyndon Johnson. And his goal was to silence the pulpits and to keep them out of politics. And you know what? He succeeded. He succeeded. To the point that our churches today are, for the most part, totally irrelevant to anything that's going on in Washington, D.C. or Helena or anywhere else in the political world. Most churches are totally irrelevant to anything that's going on. And that's why all these things continue to happen. And that's why Christians hold up their hands in dismay and say, why is this happening? And why are we letting this happen? It's because the pastors and churches are strangled by that 501c3 tax-exempt status.
It doesn't matter what type of paper that they've signed in order to get some type of benefit from the government. They have linked themselves to trusting in the government. And so when this global one mind system that is established, they are going to have to answer to the authority that they signed those papers with.
Exactly. So they are made in the image of the beast. The beast is the Vatican. It's united with a church, and that church is the Roman Catholic Church. Just likewise today, these fallen churches, the 501c3 or 501c4 fallen churches, they are linked with the government. The Vatican is the political arm of the Roman Catholic Church. Church and state united together. Today we have that same format of the image of the beast.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
But Christ speaks about a disunity of church and state. He doesn't want that.
Then went the Pharisees and took counsel how they might entangle him in his talk. And they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true, and teachest the way of God in truth, neither carest thou for any man, for thou regardest not the person of men. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar, or not? But Jesus perceived their wickedness, and said, Why tempt ye me, ye hypocrites? Show me the tribute money. And they brought unto him a penny. And he saith unto them, Whose is this image and superscription? They say unto him, Caesar's. Then saith he unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's.
There's a separation of church and state in the Bible. But in today's world, it is not. And that is very dangerous when you unite state or politics with religion. It is very dangerous. And the best example I can think of is Hitler, that monster of a man, a Catholic, who served his Pope, Pope Pius IX, Hitler's Pope. And that's a known fact. There's a good example of politics united with religion. And look what the outcome was. And it's coming back, it's going to come back again to rear its ugly head, as per Revelation chapter 14 verse 13, and Revelation, especially this one here, Revelation chapter 20 verse 4.
And Revelation chapter 17 with this global one-mind system of the 10 kings that are going to be doing the same thing as the time of Hitler or Stalin and what have you, under the Vatican's control. It is that mother of harlots who is getting this whole global system in gear to force us against our will to worship the beast in his image. And this is what we got to continue to prepare for, because Satan is going to appear at some point in his season of temptation to try to globalize his Sunday laws. And we know that what's coming from his mouth is the death decreed to kill all saints. This is not going to happen during the plagues when it's too late. Satan's appearing is to deceive everyone he possibly can.
Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things? And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the workings of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
When we look at this world today, brethren, you can see that in this battle of Armageddon between truth and error, you can see how Satan, the beast, and the dragon, the three unclean spirits that are working in this world through all deceivableness and signs and lying wonders of unrighteousness and what have you, they are globalizing this kingdom for Satan's appearing to bring about their unrighteous kingdom and their end time work in deceiving as many as they possibly can. As this threefold union is gathering their camp, God is gathering his camp under the three angels' message in this harvest time and season now, where the angels are reaping this whole world through the three angels' message. And when we proclaim the three angels' message and we begin to live it, the Revelation 18:4, the Holy Spirit, the writer of the inkhorn, during this sealing time, is crying out loud and giving us the power to perform the works of righteousness, going out and proclaiming the truth, living a daily life in your life sermon, and proclaiming the righteousness of Christ. And this latter rain will help you do that. And as you receive the rain and you go out and work and proclaim your good fruits to this world, people see Christ and they want that too. So the loud cry swells and swells and swells. And this is what's been going on with the pioneers and all the way down to this time. But out of the mouth of the beast, the dragon, the false prophet, and their ministers and such, they proclaim this work is future. Hold on, don't do this work right now. Why? Because Satan wants it to be delayed. Like there's no Sunday laws in the pipeline. This is what the Battle of Armageddon is about. You believe the truth and you follow it, and you apply it and you perform it and you work it and you give the power to do it, or you don't. But those two classes are being developed today during probationary period time that is open. Once probation closes, this world's history. The mark of the beast has been given to those who love to worship the beast in his image and perform the works of unrighteousness. End of story. When plague 1 drops on this world, it's done. The harvest is over with. The two classes have been established. The sealing has been given and done and completed, as Revelation chapter 7 verses 1 through 5 proclaims, and the mark has been given. And today's the time of decision. We are in the valley of decision. And this is where we've got to get ready for this foe's appearing, brethren, because if we're not going to get ready, how can you stand? Which a lot of people don't understand, brother. The righteousness of Christ, the refreshing presence of the Lord, the latter rain helps you prepare to stand in this most deceivable time that is coming when Satan appears.
Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision.
So again, the second epistle written by Paul to the Corinthians, chapter 11, verses 13 to 15. Very important.
For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness.
They appear as ministers of righteousness, but they're not. They're ministers of deceivableness, ministers of unrighteousness. And their God is Satan, who is transformed into an angel of light. Christ is the light, but Satan is a counterfeit. He's a fake. He's the father of lies. He will impersonate Christ, and people will fall for it. Don't fall for it. We see today ministers here in the Philippines, Mr. Kibaloy, who says he's the Son of God. Imagine that.
There are so many who question me. Why are you called the appointed Son of God? He saved me first so that He could save you through me. He is looking for a body where He can dwell here on this earth that is not religious, that cannot be used by religion alone. He alone can use that body. And I told Him when He called me, Father, I'm here, use me.
There's John Miller in Australia.
Tonight, a worldwide investigation into the evil and destructive ways of a self-proclaimed Messiah, a charismatic Australian whose devoted disciples believe he walked this earth 2,000 years ago.
And there's this Vissarion in Siberia, Russia, who recently was arrested, and rightfully so. You know your works, and your works are marked, and they're not marked for good. They are marked for evil. Be very careful what you preach.
Pope.
Just like the Pope, yes. And then we're going to have the real, ultimate false Christ.
Final one.
The final one, Satan himself. So right now, Satan has his ministers. He represents the beast. The beast is the Vatican. And with his mouth, he's spewing false doctrines. Listen to this Pope. They never, ever, or rarely do speak about Christ in their major speeches. Look at the Pope in his speech to Congress, the US Congress, in September of 2015. He never said a word about Christ. He even said the cross of Christ was a failure. He is not speaking for Christ, he's speaking anti-Christ by saying these things, by saying that same-sex civil unions are okay. That's not the position of Christ. That goes against Leviticus 18 verse 22. This is what Satan does. He's using his minions on this planet, the Pope and the Protestant ministers, to spew all kinds of things to make you feel good, not to worry about your level of righteousness, which should reflect the righteousness of Christ.
That's right.
But it's not. We have to reflect the righteousness of Christ. Pastor Craig and I have been speaking about this for the longest time. We have to imitate Christ. But if you partake in lawlessness or in iniquity, then you're imitating Satan.
Be ye therefore followers of God as dear children, and walk in love, as Christ also hath loved us, and hath given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to God for a sweet-smelling savour. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you, as becometh saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. For this ye know, that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man, who is an idolater, hath any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of God. Let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience. Be not ye therefore partakers with them. For ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Lord. Walk as children of light. For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth, proving what is acceptable unto the Lord. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them.
So in this battle of Armageddon, brethren, put on the armor of God. Put it all on and prepare to stand and to get ready, for the battle is coming, and it's going to intensify greatly in this battle of Armageddon when they set up in the plains of the earth Sunday laws and allow the rain to shower your life and to prepare you to stand in the coming days ahead.
May the love, peace, and grace of the Most High God, who lives forever, who is truth, who is love, who shares his prophetic truth with his saints, abide with you in these terrible and chaotic end times. So be it. Amen.
Amen. Bye-bye.